Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an experience like no other. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for The Mary D. Show, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary. The Mary D. Show brings you powerful insights and inspiring stories from a diverse range of guests. Join our incredible host, Mary D. Welch, as she sits down with thought leaders, business owners, and changemakers, sharing their journeys and successes. From career professionals and entrepreneurs to educators and beauty advisors, Mary D. Welch interviews sports figures and health enthusiasts, offering a platform for extraordinary voices. Explore the world of extraordinary people and places in business and finance, homes and real estate, beauty and wellness, education and empowerment, sports and health, and more. Want to be a guest on the show? Call 619-669-8603 or email Mary at marydwelch.com. Visit www.marydwelch.com to learn more.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mary D. Show. We are back on another beautiful Monday. But I'll be honest with you, it's raining here today. It's still a beautiful Monday. And even, I love it when it rains because, as many of you know, we live in Southern California, and they say it never rains in Southern California. It does rain in Southern California, so just so you know. But it's still beautiful. Whether it's rainy, sunny, we're just glad to be alive. Let's just be honest. We're just glad to be alive. So I want to thank you all for being here today. I want to thank you, our live viewers. Hi, live viewers. And thank you, our replay viewers. Hi, replay viewers. Thank you for all of you that are here. It really does make a difference. And I'd like to thank our executive producer, Oliver Welch. Hi, babe. As you know, you guys, he'll come on Christmas and he'll say hi to everybody when he comes on that day. So Oliver will be there too. I'd like to thank you to our sponsors for today's show, the Idea Club. The Idea Club is one of the first original sponsors for this show. You can go to theideaclub.com or ideaclub.org. Either one will get you there. But the Idea Club, if you're looking to have a 501c3, if you're looking to have a S Corp or a C Corp, you want to go to the Idea Club. They can help you put all that together. Go to the Idea Club. If you're looking to write a book, those of you that say, oh, I've been wanting to write a book. I hear this. Now, I will say not every day, definitely every week I hear this. And I would encourage you, write the book, ladies and gentlemen. You probably want to come to First Book Academy, and you can go to, or come to, I tell you what, just send me an email and you can come and be a part of the next cohort for those of you that are interested in writing your first book. The first book is usually the hardest book to write because you don't know how to get started. You don't know how to, where to go, those kind of things. But once you get the first book under your belt, it's like, oh, it wasn't that bad. So ladies and gentlemen, you can send me an email, Mary at Mary D. Welch, Mary at Mary D. Welch. Send me an email there, or the number, which many of you are familiar with, is the office number, which is area code 619-669-8603. Area code 619, I'll put it in the chat for you, 619-669-8603. And you can go there. And when you do, then that's going to be the easiest way to contact the office. Did I get through? Oh, there it is. Call that number and just leave a message with your name and your number that you're interested in writing a book. And somebody from the team will get in contact with you. All righty. So ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat today. When I tell you, because this wonderful woman, I'm so proud of this lady. When I tell you, I have met just so many wonderful people on this show, and I get so impressed by the things they're doing. And this lady is no exception. I'm going to read you her bio because I'm impressed with it, because I'm like, how did you do all this? And let me say this to you. She's told me time and time again, you can do it. You can do it. And I'm like, But I will tell you, I know that I'm sure we're going to work together. I know, I don't doubt that. But this lady right here she's a writer, she's a producer, she's a director. When I say all that when each one of those, let me tell you now, is huge. each one. But she has her own production company called Mid-South Films. And I'm going to read to you about her. When I tell you I'm impressed, it's just phenomenal. After diving into a writing career in 2014, her name is LaQuita Longford. Did I say it right? Langhorn. I'm sorry, Longhorn. LaQuita made her mission to write compelling stories that inspire audiences around the world. With more than 20 published novels and 15, I'm going to say it again, 20 published novels. Right there, we can give her a hand right there. We don't have to go any further. But then this lovely lady has 15 completed feature films. LaQuita hopes to inspire others to follow their dreams and encourage growth and diversity in the film industry. Throughout the years, she has developed her skills to play a crucial role in the stage of in any stage of production, whether it's in developing screenplays, producing films, collaborating with other professionals to direct a vision or see a production through its post-production. And I'll read you the title of some of her films. If you receive the email, there's a link in the email that you can actually go and see many of her productions. So one is The Bodyguard, which is it's on Tubi. The Bodyguard, which is on Peacock. The Last Wife, which is on Tubi. The Last Wife on Peacock. I'm sorry, His Last Wife. His Last Wife. And it's Rock Bottom, R-O-C bottom, not R-O-C-K. So Rock Bottom, Dangerous Feelings. Rock Bottom is on Tubi. Dangerous Feelings is on Tubi. Dangerous Feelings is on Peacock. Scandalous, which is on Tubi. Never Too Far Away is on Tubi. Bad for You is on Tubi. The Housekeeper on Tubi. The Housekeeper on Prime Video. Nowhere to Be Found on Tubi. My Man on Tubi. A Cold-Hearted Christmas on Tubi. I tell you these titles. The Honeymoon on Prime Video. Ladies and gentlemen, like you, welcome to the show, the one and only LaQuita Langford. Did I say your name? I said it right, right?
It's Langhorn, but it's okay, Queen.
You know, when I was looking at it, it was the last part I didn't see it, so I apologize, but it's Langhorn. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, LaQuita Langhorn to the show. I was like, wait. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here, because I know your schedule is crazy. And for you to take time to be here, I want to thank you. I appreciate you so much for doing this today.
Thank you. I just thank you so much. And yes, my schedule is crazy, but I always make time to give back to other creatives, to share the space with other women that are doing just phenomenal things. And you're definitely one of those women, Mary. So thank you for having me and just for blessing me with your presence, and any conversations that we have. I just love having them with you. So thank you.
The feeling is mutual. I can tell you. Well, I want you to tell us. Let's get started, because you are, and when I say a creative, the first time you tell me you have 15 movies, I'm like, what? You have 15? What is it, LaQuita? I'm trying to do one movie.
I get that all the time. I swear I get it all the time. And it's just, it's really amazing what vision I had for myself and what vision God actually has given me and presented me with, and the time that he has given me to be able to present my vision. It's like, I wanted to do one, and then those one turned into 15. It's like, how was I supposed to do all this? But I just tell people I had to quit my job to do it. It really takes you going full blown into the career in order to have that time to do those 15 movies. This wasn't, all 15 that were done in between jobs.
Right.
I did work at first. So of course I started out working, and I probably was able to do about 6 movies when I was working. But once I stopped working and was fully committed to writing, fully committed to directing, and baby, once my feet hit the ground, it was wrong. So that's how I got to 15, because I had nothing but time to be able to create.
Well, I'm like I said before, I even mentioned to you before, I said, I'm going to go through and I'm going to see your movies. This is to me how I honor the people that I know. I have seen all of Megamine's movies,
Yes.
We don't, because if I'm not willing to honor you, why would I expect anyone to feel the same way when my movies come out?
Absolutely.
You have to honor the effort, the time, everything that it took to make your movies, because you're a writer, director, a producer. I'm just, all of these hats are just phenomenal to me that you wear, but you wear them well. You wear
Thank
them well. How
thank
did you
you.
how did you get involved in film production?
COVID. I hate to say it, but
Oh,
COVID, yeah, COVID proved to me that I was not an essential person. And I took that very hard at first. I was like, "What? You mean that a job can tell me they don't need me?" And it happened. COVID hit, and I was at the house. I didn't have anything to do but be there with the kids, and I already had school credits and worked my way into basically building an education with the accounting background. And I saw that they had a film and TV program where you could actually learn how to do live productions, how to do film, whether it's independent or whatever. And my husband was like, "Well, you need to find something to do with your time." And I was like, "You sure right." So I was just online, and I was like, maybe I'll take screenwriting classes. And
uh-huh.
one of the professors messaged me, and they were like, "Well, don't just take screenwriting, take all of it and just enroll in a bachelor's program." And that's what I did. I enrolled in the program because I love writing so much, just being in all these creative writing classes and then being pushed to do a production, class and a directing class. It's really my advisor. Once I got into the program and told her about how many books I had, she
Uh-huh.
said, "No, honey, you ain't just going for no screenwriting. You need to go for bachelor's, and that way you'll know how to do a production from beginning to end. You'll know producing budgets." It's already in accounting, so she was like, "You'll know budgets. You'll know, how to put together a team." I was in the corporate world, so being able to put documents together came easy. So she was like, "With acquisition, you shouldn't have any problems." So it just fell into my lap like that.
Wow, because you really did was transfer those skills.
I did. I really did.
Wow, that's excellent. That's
Yep.
excellent. I tell you, well, they transfer well, because I know this is just the beginning. This is
Oh,
just the beginning, and you get, as they say, you getting started.
yes. Yes, I am definitely getting started. Definitely getting
All
started.
right. Well, what inspired you to write? Because I'm assuming you wrote first, long before you ever started making movies. But what inspired you to write?
I was just really in a dark place in my life to where it was just things they weren't going the way I wanted them to. I wasn't in the career space I wanted to be in as a woman. I was working at a call center. I wasn't happy with that career. And I just started writing about what life would look like for individuals in my shoes, just not happy. And I started out as a short story, just writing about women in general, their failed relationships, writing in journals, just saying, "Hey, this is what's going on in my relationship," and just being able to pinpoint that in kind of a diary form, but
Mhm.
make it into like, what if a woman was going through this and she decided to write about it?
Right.
And it was so my coworker that worked with me, she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Nothing, just writing." And she was like, "Well, what are you writing?" And once I told her, she's like, "I got to read this." And I was like, "No, I don't want my personal." And she was like, "Well, you turned into a character, so it's not you, okay?" And I was like, "Right, you got a point." And so once I shared that with her, she was like, "This is good. You should turn this into a book." And so I self-published it as my first book. And
Wow.
so many women reached out to me and were like, "This just touched me in a way to where I'm married, or either I went through a divorce, or either I'm just a black woman just struggling to find myself in this world." And it really pushed, publishers to reach out to me to say, "Hey, this book is getting traction. Where's the rest of it?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't think I had to write anymore. I just wanted to write one." And so people were reaching out like, "Okay, is there another part to this book?" And so I just ended up doing trilogies after trilogies for certain books. They just fell in love with the character. So that's how
Wow.
the writing just took off in 2014. It was crazy.
I love it. I'm just like, wow. So now, are any of your movies based on your books, or no? I don't know.
They are based on characters out of a book. So I'm a character driven writer, and I can take a character from any world and give them their own. And so I basically pulled certain characters from certain books and put them in situations with other characters, and that's how the writing just evolved for the films. But I would definitely love, to make some of those books the actual screenplay of them. It's just like, I don't know, so many characters that I could develop along the way. So it's in the making. The book to film adaptations are in the making, but all these other characters, honey, they keep coming before them. So I don't know.
Well, in other words, you don't have to use your books to make your
I
movie.
do not. I
Wow.
do not.
So your
I do not.
screenwriting is really, they're two different entities.
They are two different entities.
Wow, that is interesting. I don't know why I thought that that's what the book would be based on. I mean, your movies would be based on your books, but
Hmm.
then that also gives you always have content if you ever want to go back and do that.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, like I said, I am impressed.
Thank you.
From our audience, we have, let's see, is this Antonio? Oh, that's the phone number here. And then Antonio says, "Hi, Mary." And then usually he'll say, and then he says on here, oh, he says, "Hi, our producer." Hi, any more, Antonio? "Hi, Sister LaQuita."
Hi, Antonio.
is a super fan. Antonio, I can depend on Antonio being here if nobody is here. Antonio will be here. So hi, Antonio. I tell you, hi, Lori. That's his mom. Hi, Lori.
Nice to meet you all.
No, there. One thing I say, people tell me this all the time. They go, "Mary, I can't see you live," but they come on, and I'll see the numbers from the replay. And
Mhm.
wow, you guys really do come on and watch the come on later and watch. And I understand that because people
Yeah.
are busy. People
Yeah.
are busy, they don't have time. Well, tell me, how was the process different from now to when you first started film production?
Jesus, that's all I can say. Jesus, he held my hand and took me through it because for the first process of filming, I tried to find others that could kind of help me navigate the film world and all that, but without having anything to put behind me saying, "Hey, I know film, I know how to do this, I know how writing, I know anything." I really had to just step out on faith and just look at the classes I took in school, and just say, okay, how can I put something small together? You know what I mean? Like, how can I put something small together? And
Yeah.
then versus now saying, oh, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if don't nobody show up to the job, I know I can at least do X, Y, and Z to get it done. So the difference was basically starting from scratch, not having an idea of how the process would be to fully do a film. On my first film, we kind of winged it. Did have a small crew, but we winged it. We pretty much played our role, but I did not expect, actors to be late, did not expect wardrobe issues, did not expect issues with location. So now that I'm aware, okay, anything can happen on the day of filming, my mindset is different. So
Right.
everything, yeah, if a location falls through, I'm like, okay, don't worry about it, we'll do this. So my mindset has changed, and I'm really adaptable versus the first time I filmed. I just thought everything was going to be perfect. I just thought everybody was, all into the film, all supportive. And I think just that first project opened my mind to where, okay, it's going to take a lot more work than just getting out here with a camera.
It's more involved, and you're dealing with people.
Yes, yes.
You're dealing with people. It has to be. I don't know. I just think, and I've been in production, but for the first time, I'm in the movie that's coming out, Urban Flesh Eaters. I think I'm in scenes. I don't have a speaking role, so
It's okay.
like the first time, I said, "Now you're in a movie. You're moving to a speaking role."
Yes, I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it too.
Oh, I did. You saw the poster, right? We showed it in
Yes,
class.
yes.
Yes, didn't it look good?
It
I'm
looks
excited.
amazing.
She said, she didn't say when, because I asked her and she said, "I don't know when. I don't know what's gonna land." That's what she said.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's gonna be on BET Plus
Hmm.
or I think it was Amazon or a couple other ones, a
Yeah,
streamer. So
yeah.
I'm excited because I want to see. So I know when they add those special effects, oh,
Oh,
just like we mentioned to you earlier about Sinners, when they put those special effects in there, and you got the people that do all the makeup and this, it's just a whole nother level to it.
yes.
But I can't wait to see what they did with it because I saw some of the shots and I thought I can't imagine what this is gonna look like when they grabbing people in the dark and oh girl.
Yes, yes, I know it's gonna be good. I can imagine. I love movies with special effects because there's always what happened on set, and then once you get into post production and see that, you like, oh, now I see how it comes together. Like you get to see behind the scenes, and it's like, now how they gonna do this in post production? So that software is something else. I'm telling you,
It
technology.
is. It is, I mean, that just editing itself. It's a, do you edit? I believe you told me
I do.
edit. That in itself, I'm just amazed at film editing. I really am. Because what can be done just by the way you edit
Mm-hmm.
film and how you make it look, and I'm amazed. Every part of this, for me, it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
And whether it's production, like I said, to be on a set. And when I was on the last set, this one, I was walking through, I forget for one of the scenes, but they weren't filming. And the one guy says, "You can stop smiling any day now. You can really."
You said, no, I'm on set. I'm happy. To be here.
I said, he started laughing. He goes, "We all know you happy to be." And I said, because this is a dream of mine to have done, to do this work. It's not like I never knew how you could get in. Let me just say it.
Yeah.
And to be in, and one of my sons said, "Mom, do you have IMBD?" He said, "Are you on IMBD? Do you have an IMBD?" That's what he said. And those people that don't know, that means that you have credits in the movie industry.
Yeah.
So, and I'm looking at him and I said, "Sure." I said, "Yeah, son, I have IMBD." I kept doing what I was doing. He goes, he asked me 5 times. And I said, "What part of yes I have?"
He trying to get understanding.
He pulls up in front and goes, "Mom, you have an IMBD." I said,
Yes, I am somebody.
but it was so funny. Oh my goodness. But he was saying, he goes, "Mom, you're in the industry." And I said, "Am I?" I said, "I don't, because I guess I do the work, but I don't think of it like that. You just, when you go on those sets and 14-hour days is probably the average. You are just there until that scene is done, or a few scenes are done that day. And by the time I leave the set, I'm exhausted. All I want to do is a shower in a bed. That's it.
That's it. That's probably all you can do. Your feet hurt, your back hurt. Listen, your head is just, overwhelmed with so much that transpired through the day and just, yeah.
So many people, but this is what I tell anybody. Somebody said, they said, "How can you like something that's taking that much out of you?" I said, "I can't, but I love it. I love it. I started in Crafty. I've now, where was I? Let me think. Because I started in Crafty.
Mm-hmm.
No, I started as a volunteer. This is how I started. I
Oh.
started as a volunteer. I volunteered, and when I volunteered, I was Crafty. Then I stayed there for a while, and then I got promoted. I've been assistant casting.
Okay.
I know. So now, which I mentioned when I was on my last set, I mentioned that I was. This is stuff I'm looking at. I said I mentioned on the last set, I'm learning production.
Wow.
So what I've been doing is I stay somewhere for about, let's say, 3 films. Learn whatever it is, I learn there, and then I will go into the producer. I don't go right away because I need to do a good job where I am first. I ask them, "Okay, is it okay if I learn something else?" And everybody's been real kind about it. They've been like, "Sure," but only till they see you do a good job where you are. That's what I learned too. You cannot just run around and, it doesn't work like that. You have to really do a good job. Like I said, I was volunteering. And I met on the first set, and it was for Strange Love, and Country Wayne was the star.
I love that movie. I've seen that.
Credits. You see me in the credits. Let me tell you, this is I don't know if this is good or bad. I did not know who Country Wayne was. That's a true story. That is a true story. I sat there and they introduced me to him, and I just said, "Hello, sir. How are you?" And pretty much nothing, but I wasn't like, "Oh, it's Country." None of that. It was none of that because I didn't know who he was. So it was too. And then one lady told me after he left the room, she said, "You don't even know who that was."
She could tell. She could just tell by your body language. She's like, and other people were probably gushing over him, and they like, "Why is she just so calm?" And so
I looked back at that time. I was just like, hi, sir. How are you? Nice to meet you. No, I didn't even try to take a picture. Nothing. No.
But honestly, that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people like you to be all over them taking pictures. They like the normal. You know what I'm saying? They don't like all that anyway. So you probably did him a favor. He probably was tired of taking pictures, tired of.
Well, he got the definite. I wasn't all over him. He got that one because I was like, I was very much hello, very. It's nice to meet you, but
Yes.
I've been in. We've been to the NAACP awards. My husband and I. I
Wow.
met Tiffany Haddish. I met Anthony Anderson. I'm like Ava DuVernay. I mean, I can go down the line. Sherry
Yes.
Shepherd.
Oh,
All these people I met, and
yes.
literally, I was shaking.
So it's a good thing you didn't know who he was, because you would have been shaking. He would have been like, "What's wrong with this woman? Get her off the set."
Tiffany Haddish said, "Give me the phone." You cannot take the picture. It was too. She said, "Give me the phone." I was so nervous, I couldn't even take the picture. That's why I said. That's what that lady said. You don't even know who that was. She was telling the truth. I did not know who he was. Now I do.
Yes.
But anyway, films are saved in it. Thank you. It's just this cannot be Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? And she's a producer also. She's now, I believe a writer. In fact, she did Tupac's movie. She's the lady that did. I know. Oh, we love that movie. I think I share a birthday with Tupac too, Stephanie. I think that Tupac and I have the same birthday, June 22nd. Okay, you say they are in the editing room. I know, Stephanie, you might be filming right now. It's all. She does a lot of filming. I mean, we're getting together. She likes one of my. I sent her. I think I sent her the treatment. I may have sent her the script.
Yes.
You must be doing one of my movies, huh, Stephanie? I'm now. Hi, Elaine. She said, "I'm here too." Oh, you had a great bad meeting today. Like LaQuita is inspiration on all she's done and is doing. Mira, you bring that same inspiration. Oh, thank you, Elaine. Congratulations on both of you dynamic Black women. Oh, this is Elaine is a super fan also. Yeah. Elaine is an educator and she helps kids go to college and get scholarships. Isn't she wonderful?
That is amazing.
She is amazing. I keep telling her I gotta have her on the show. I've got
to. Yes, another inspirational woman. Absolutely. Yes.
And, I mean, dedicated educator. I think she had over 40 years in as a teacher. A lot. She did, but Elaine is she is a treasure for our community. She really, for sure. Well, let me get back to you, LaQuita, because I get. Okay. You decide to produce your own screenplay, but that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. I decided to produce my own. It was around 2020. Towards like the end of the year. I think what it was I really wanted to have my vision out there and say, okay, if there's a producer out here that may want to, put my film out, I just need to link up with them. But I kept sending out information and reaching out to producers and trying to find people, and I just couldn't. And for me, it was like, okay, there's got to be a sign. It's something going on to where I can't find anybody that's able to do it or willing to do it, you know what I mean, or has the time to do it. Of course, because COVID was going on, they were like, people had to get, the injections, you know what I'm saying? Like they had to go around and get the basically forms to fill out to say you could film during that time. So it was during the time where people were really sketchy on film in any way. And so we were kind of going from different apps at the time, just being home. And one of the young ladies was like, oh my God, there's this new app and there's so many creatives on there. And Clubhouse was one of the apps. And on Clubhouse, and there was so many producers on there that I'm talking legendary producers who literally said, you know how I got my first project out? I did it myself. And I thought to myself, I said, well, maybe I just need to do one myself, and then somebody will see it and say, hey, I can help you produce the next one or collab or something like that. And that is how I got started. I listened to people on Clubhouse saying what they did, what worked, what failed. Just started following their social media, reaching out to them, asking questions, how do you think I can pull off my first production? And I got so many tips and so much valuable information that I went for it after that. And I said, well, it's small, I may find some actors, I may not. And it just happened. It really did just happen, just from research and reaching out to people, getting tips and getting, I guess, feedback on what I should and shouldn't do. That really helped me a lot.
All right, because I think, as you know, I'm sitting here now just trying not to. I think I'm coming to the reality. I probably have to do it myself. I think It's taking me a while to get here. I've been inching.
No,
Like,
no, Stephanie's gonna help you. She didn't mean it, Stephanie. You gonna help her.
no, not that the movie. No, that
Not that one.
No. I do want to work with producers for sure.
Yeah.
I think I do have some small ones. You know that you say, get your feet wet. I think what happened to you? You got that toe in there, and it's like, wow.
I did. Yes.
You said once, and I think what it is too. Once you got over the fear,
yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, and you get one done. Remember, I said at the beginning, I said about getting one book done.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do one, it just that anxiety level comes down.
It does. It does.
And then you can move on and do other ones, and it just takes from there. But Stephanie, I'm still here. Just
You talking about a small project? I get it. I know what you mean because I have scripts for bigger projects, and I put those on the back burner. But the ones that I feel like that can be small and that I can do myself, I do those. So I know exactly what you mean. You got some that are that you're holding on to. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna encourage anyone here. If you have an idea for a movie, number one, I always say this because people will say, they'll tell me, but they haven't written anything down. Mm-hmm. And I'll write it down.
Yes.
Whatever that idea is. First, let's start there. Yeah. Take the time to write it down. It doesn't have to be perfect because don't worry about your grammar. Don't worry about anything. That's what we got Grammarly for. We have all these AI tools now. Don't worry, but your story is what needs to be there. Absolutely. What is the story? That's what needs to be there. So I tell you, that's just write it down and then take it from there. But you gotta have the story first. You gotta know what you know what we're doing, and then we'll go from there basically.
Absolutely.
When you were telling me about budgeting and all that, that is something I don't know a lot about, but I know I need to know a lot about in that industry because time is money.
Yes, it is. You can waste a lot of time doing some stuff you have no business doing, and you just be like, oh my God, like where did the time go? And then once you look back, you be like, I could have saved some time by doing X, Y, and Z. It's just a learning process. It really is. But time is definitely money, and it'll cost you if you don't spend it right.
Oh yeah. I know somebody. I was talking to someone. They said, well, so many ladies, somebody can do your catering for you and things like that. I said, you would think. But you got to remember, you have different people. Some people can have nuts. Some people, you have different diets for different people. Some people are lactate intolerant.
Yeah,
so many things. You can't assume that you make one meal and you're going to satisfy everyone because I haven't seen it happen on one set.
Me either.
It's always something different. That's what I noticed. Or you have to allow for the vegetarians or the vegans and the.
Absolutely. All of that pescatarian. I didn't even know what a pescatarian was until people got on set. And I was like, what is that? What do you eat? Just tell me in layman terms, what is it so I can make sure you have it? Like there's so many terminologies. There are people that, eating, they may drink tea or they may drink a certain, like they do different things, grassroots. It's like so many things to people's diet these days that they may watch Dr. Sabi and do different dietary things. So you just never know.
And you have to really be ready for that. I don't think we think of that when you think of a set or a movie set. The food aspect, ladies and gentlemen, everyone on that set gets definitely, I'd say, one meal a day. It could be two, depending on how long you're filming. But in between that, you have with the position I've been in, it's called crafty. And that is your snacks because people graze. That's like all day long.
Yes, they do.
But it's a good thing because we always had coffee, we always had tea, we always had fruit, always had apples, bananas, tons of fruit, because nectarines, cranberries, nuts, all these things because or just say some chips. Yeah, because you come in and just get some chips, go back out. Just because it's not a lot of times you're waiting for a scene to be ready. Yeah. Or they're rehearsing a scene and things like that. So you're kind of just sitting around waiting.
Right. And so you really are. And the thing of it is you don't want to get too full. You don't want to get too full to where you can't move. It's like, I done ate this whole plate of chicken tenders, boy. Oh, you need me to bring this cart out? Okay, let me bring the cart out. So you gotta be careful of not eating too much on set because it will definitely weigh you down. You
Oh,
be
they call it somebody they call it set weight, that you gain weight on the set. Because I said, I believe it. I believe it. It's still it's what the reason they do that is so that no one has to leave the set to get something to eat. Because if you were to leave that set, get in a car accident,
Yep.
you can anything can happen while you're gone by if you leave. So the goal is to keep you there on the set. That's why you're fed while
Yes.
you're there. You don't have to leave. You have to go for anything really, because
Right.
you leave and then not only that, something happened to you, and depending on what part you play in this or how you're involved in the project, it may not be able to go forward because you're not there.
Right.
And that's the difference it makes. It makes a huge difference. But
It does. I've had people on the set and they go out to lunch, and imagine being in a city that you're not used to. When I filmed in Atlanta one time, I had actors get lost. They didn't know how to get back to the set, and I was like, "Well, you should have stayed. You should,
see,
because now I'm going to wait on you to get back." So
sometimes in between you could change locations. Between the time somebody leaves that set and you go to another location and they go back to it, or I no, that already sounds like somebody's gonna get left or something.
Yes.
I would tell you. Well, help me. What is a driving force behind your storytelling? What makes you different from other directors?
The main driving force behind my storytelling is there's always something inspirational behind each story. You know what I mean? Like whether it's the male protagonist finding love, the right way, changing how they used to treat others. The female protagonist finding their way in the world. The female protagonist solving, one of the biggest issues in that environment. But really, what pulls and what drives me to do the directing the way I do is I really want people to see what's important in the film. Whether it's somebody crying, whether it's a real intimate moment for those people, and whether or not that person is hurting during that time, how they evolve, through the story. So that's really how my directing goes. I try to make sure if I don't have it doesn't matter what's going on the set, as long as I have certain scenes, I know the story will still be told the way it needs to be told. And that's kind of how I direct it.
Oh, right. Because I don't know why, because I just sit back and a lot of times I'm just watching, of learning and absorbing, because just being on set is such a learning process. You never, as you say, you never learn it all.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, the director is responsible for everything that's happening.
Absolutely. It really falls on the director every time. And I think the main reason, and that's why I try to have like 2 cameras, because I'm like, okay, if some other camera malfunctions or we have an issue, at least we have a backup. You know what I mean? So that opens the door, because I really tell you, tripods fall and break, cords, they disconnect the wrong way and get stripped. You just never know what can happen on the set with equipment. A light may fall, or a light bulb may not work, an outlet may not be present. So there's so many facets to being a director, and making sure once they choose a location, you have what you need for set design and all of that to be able to push the vision through. That is important.
All right, I tell you, because I know I've seen some of everything, and then, I mean, thank God nobody's hurt.
Right.
But still, I've seen where we have to change locations, or you only have so long in a location, and they've paid for the house or whatever the location is for, 2 days, but we need 3 days worth of shooting.
Yes.
You have to go back and negotiate another day, and I just get to hear all that. I don't get in.
Listen, you're not on the phone crying about it. Like, why did we lose this location? Where are we going?
No, but I listen to it because I'm like, it's just fascinating. That's what it is for me. This is what people never see. They never see this side of what's going on to make this movie. To get here. When you see it on that screen, you have no idea the story behind that went into that. And that's what I really enjoy. I mean, that in itself is a movie, if you be honest.
It really is. I swear it is. Because there's so much that happens with creating it, and then just the relationships that you build during that time, or the relationships that fall out during that time. And it's it's really mind-blowing to be like, okay, it's day one, and then day 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 roll around, and 7, 8, 9, 10, and you're just like, finally I can breathe. Like, I, as a director, I swear, you do not breathe if normally until the last day of filming, because you are literally holding your breath trying to make sure everything is going the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. I can believe it. I can believe. And then now, is it at the wrap? When you say wrap,
Yes. Yeah.
so you stop breathing when they start and start back.
I'll say you continue breathing, but it's not the norm. It's like you're holding your breath every so often. Like, is this person going to show up? Is this person going to have all the clothes they need? You know, or either this person doesn't have the clothes they need. Can they go run to a store and get back in time to do? You know, you literally every now and then you're holding your breath, but you do not breathe and sigh of relief until it is a wrap. That is when you can eat. I tell people all the time, when I'm filming from day one to finish, I literally fast, because I'm like, I just get butterflies, and just my stomach is just not the same if I eat. So I fast, I drink water, I eat certain proteins and stuff like that. But I do not eat normal when I film, because I'm like, I just can't. I'm so driven and focused to get the film done that I don't eat the same. I don't sleep the same. You know what I'm saying? I'm nervous, you know. So yeah.
You know why your mind is, it reminds me of when I used to do it was called career day at our high school. And I could not sleep because I knew everything was on me on that day. And if something goes wrong, it's on me, you know. And so like you are still, and my mind would be, I literally the night before, truthfully, I could not sleep. I did not, even though I'm laying there, my eyes open, like, okay, what else did I forget? Did I forget anything? What's it like? I hope the caterer shows up on time. Are they going to have the food on time? It's everybody, you know, just so many little things.
It is.
Yeah, but then when it was over, I'd be like, oh, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's an actual, you know, it's a euphoria, but then it's also a letdown, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of glad it's over with, but you feel good about it too. It's really mixed.
It's mixed.
Yeah, I would think so, because you're going through. I know the feeling of. I am so glad that's over with. I don't have to think about that.
Yes, that is the exact feeling.
Oh my goodness! And Elaine says, "Oh, thank you, Mary, for the accolades. Just doing what God says to do, that which He gave me the ability to do." And Elaine, girl, when I tell you, you're a powerhouse.
Yes.
You coming on the show, Elaine?
Come on, bring on Elaine.
Elaine, I'm telling, we've been talking about it. We have been talking about it. So Elaine, you're gonna come on the show. And really, I mean, there's so many people that don't know. So much money out there, but if you don't know how to get it, you can't get it. And pretty much that's, you know, I would tell you that. But this is a lady I have so much respect for. So thank you. And thank you for your support, Elaine, because you're here week after week. So thank you. I have another quick question for you.
Yes.
Okay. How was a typical day on set for Mid-South Films or your production? What's a typical day for you?
A typical day for us is definitely you looking at about 12 to 14 hours. We typically try to start early. My main thing is to try to get people on set and get them off set. I try to be considerate of people's time. So typically I will block out times for certain locations. But for me, with being on set, I don't like having people scrambling to go to so many locations. So at the max, I try to make it at least 3 to 4 locations per day. Or less. It just depends on the kind of location we find, because if we can find a nice house, a nice building, commercial building that has different levels and floors and stuff like that, where we can do so many different scenes, then we'll pretty much be there for the bulk of the time. And we try to be on set no later than 10 p.m. But if we're on set there's only been like one film where we were literally filming from like 7 a.m. to about 3 a.m. the next morning, and had to be back on set the next day at 7 a.m. But that was, of course, because locations ended up changing at the last minute. There was a lot with it. But typically for us, when we're on set, they already know there's going to be 2 cameras running. There's going to be people on and off the set. So we try to give out a little set etiquette before and just say, hey, it's so many people on set. Try to be conscious. You know, if you're doing table reads or practicing and rehearsing, just be a little subconscious. But they know we have so much fun on set. We just blend, you know, as a little family when we're filming. We laugh, we joke. There's, you know, bloopers, of course, that we end up hitting. You know, it's just a good fun time for us on set at Mid South Films. But they definitely know if they coming, they're gonna work. They're gonna have their wardrobe in place. It's gonna be organized, structured, and very informative. Not only when they come on set, I like to inform and say, hey, you know, try this range or switch it up like this, like, and then I try to push them as far as taking their character to where they want to go. I don't box them in. I'm like, listen, this is your character. How do you want to be seen? I tell them all the time. I'm like, when you look at a movie and you think, oh, I hated this person, or I love this person, that character made you feel some kind of way. Like, how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered? I tell them that every time, and we just have a blast when we're on set every time.
All right. I know we have our executive producer here for the Mary D Show. It's Oliver. Thank you for doing the show and sharing your experiences and knowledge in the film industry. We appreciate you. And thanks to all the repeat followers. Thank you, Oliver.
Thank you, Oliver.
I think he's out, like I said, in the background. He comes on the show Christmas. I try to bring the family on at Christmas time. And that's our they get the chance to meet the people they don't get a chance to see all the time.
Oh, yes.
He's right in the background. And at the end of the show, we talk about it.
Yeah.
We talk about the show. Hi, Sheila. Sheila, I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. I tell you. Well, this is you sound like you're Mid-South Films. It sounds like the sets I've been on. You are working hard, but you're playing hard, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes, we definitely play hard.
I think that's why people like it so much, because even though you're working, you really don't feel like you're working.
Nope.
But you are.
Yeah.
You are. I can tell you. We were at the, like I mentioned, NAACP, and one of the actors, I cannot call his name right now. I can see his face. And I turned to him. It was the one with the show with the three ladies that married him, the Frankie story. I forget the singer.
Was it?
And one of
was Fall in Love.
I think it was.
Okay.
Was Vivica Fox one of the people?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I can't call his name right. Anyway, I turned. I was sitting at the table and I turned and saw him. I went.
Frankie Lyman.
The Frankie Lyman story.
Yes.
But it was the actor that played the Frankie Lyman.
Yes.
I can't. Right.
Lorenz Tate.
I saw Lorenz Tate.
Listen, I love that movie.
Girl, I tried to look at it and I said, sir, I was so full because I said, we love your work.
Yes.
And he said, thank you for that. Thank you. And I really
saw him at Essence once. I love him. He's at the Essence Festival.
So humble. He was so humble. And I said, and I realized I don't think you can ever hear that enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in front of that camera, you're working.
Yes, you're working.
But the fact that it doesn't look like it means you're doing an excellent job.
Absolutely.
You know, so I told him, I said, I just want you to know that I've been blessed to see so many people. If you ever want to meet, so go to the I call the Black Academy Awards. Go to the NAACP Awards because they're there.
Yes.
And you can go right up and talk to them.
Yes.
Now, Anthony Anderson, I think he had a bodyguard.
Oh, okay.
Now some do, but you're literally, they're looking at your body language. Are you going to do harm to them or something like that? But I'm very respectful of their space.
Yes.
And when I first met Anthony Anderson, he said, and I asked him for a picture, he said no.
Oh,
it's a good part. No. He said no. And then he turned to me and he said, sister, come and get your picture.
Oh.
I understood when he said no, he wasn't saying no to me. He was saying no, he was tired.
Yeah.
That's all it was. But I came over there and got that picture though.
I know this, right?
But I said to him, I said, thank you. He said, you're welcome. But I know in that instant, he was tired. But if it wasn't for people like me, he would not be who he is.
Absolutely.
And that's what
you really have to consider that.
But he was very kind. That's why I say it was a good part to the story. And at first he said no. He said, but me, they have every right to say no.
They do.
I don't. I don't have a right to, to push myself on you. That's
Yes.
why I ask.
Yes.
And I never just jump at them and jump
Mhm.
in a picture. I never do that. I always am very. Is it okay if I take a picture and that kind of
Yeah.
thing? That's why I said that should tell you I didn't know who Country Wayne was because I
Yes.
didn't ask for a picture.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I
But
and
you
I
can
know what man was. I would have asked for it. Well, I can tell you what techniques have helped you push through finishing a project because I know you have some.
Oh yes, some techniques. Definitely research, research, and just using minimum locations.
Okay.
Trying to basically find the best locations, but the ones that basically fit the capacity you need. Because a lot of times when you're filming, you're just thinking about what kind of place, but not how many people will be there. And when I tell you, if you don't get the number right, you'll have a lot of people on set that are just walking in and out of your scenes. So the technique of just learning how to be a director and learning how to pinpoint the times of needing certain actors on set is important. Definitely, when you do your research, is really reading up on reviews. If you read up on reviews for locations, read up on reviews for certain people, checking their social media. How is this person? When it comes to casting and working with the casting director, do I really want this person to be a part of this project? So interviewing other directors to see how some actors were. Were they really the cream of the crop? Yes, they're good at acting, but professional wise, how are they? So
Okay.
there's a lot of different techniques when it comes to directing. And then with writing, even with writing, there are certain techniques. How can I break this script down? It may be a script that has 50 locations that starts out. But if you're going to do it independently, now you got to figure out, okay, how can I condense this? How can I get
Yeah.
some of these, you know what I'm saying, calm
Uh-huh.
down some of these locations because we can't be everywhere, even though
Yeah.
we like to, or do you want to put that, that film aside until you get a bigger budget? So
Right.
just those are definitely some techniques and just learning your groove and what you can do is definitely really important. And like I told anybody, writing is not easy. You
No.
really have to break down your character. So a technique that I definitely tend to use is my character breakdown and profiling. You definitely want to profile your character as much as you can with writing. So those are just a few techniques. And then even with editing, a lot of times there are a lot of different softwares, testing out certain softwares, testing out, who can do a little more editing than you and testing out the music and everything. So
Wow.
those are definitely some of the techniques that I use.
Wow. Because I'm just like now when you do music, is this original music or is this music that's free? I guess they call it. Is it open source? I don't know what the term.
There's commercial music. So let's say, for instance, you're not really plugged into local artists,
Right.
but maybe an artist of yours may have theirs to where you can purchase it to use a commercial license for it. So,
Got it.
and it may not be anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? It may just be on a certain platform, and
Okay.
you can log onto this platform or subscribe to it, and basically get this artist's music. And
Okay.
9 times out of 10, some of the music isn't on anything else. But there are some free, platforms where you can get free music to use. But then again, do you want to use that music if it's in all these other films? You know what I
Right. Right. I was thinking too because I think you, as much as you can, use
mean?
original. So
Yeah,
you're. I mean, I don't know. I'm still like I said. I'm that part. I have no idea about editing with
yeah,
that in house. But I, it's just but for you to even that's yeah, that's an area that you're film editing too.
yes,
I'm amazed. Please. I'm amazed. It's just all of these are just unto themselves are a lot to do.
yeah,
It's just but to do all of these different areas,
yes,
now
ma'am.
you went to school for all of them.
Yes, yep, absolutely. With the bachelor's that I have, it taught me every last step, and I'm talking TV wise too. I even had to get behind a monitor, you know what I'm saying, and do cue cards like I was on the local news, and it drove me crazy. But my advisor was like, I know you're gonna hate me for these classes, but I'm telling you, you're gonna end up understanding how a live production, independent and film production works. And when I tell you, she took me through every single stage of a production. And I didn't even know how to work. You know how on the live TV they can switch up to like where they change the view of the camera. I didn't know how to do that until I took a class, and I had to be quick with it. We were timed. We were literally timed and
Wow.
did like a live session where they would do interviews with certain students, and we'd have to make sure we had the right camera angle at a certain time.
Wow. So in other words, that's why you said this is you knew. Remember, I was asking. I said, "How
Yeah,
did you know
yeah.
how to do all this?" You said, "I went to school for this."
I did. I went. We used cameras. They showed us how to use certain cameras. They showed us in the editing room. And when I tell you my advisor, she would make me so mad because she would give you footage and not tell you how to put it together. She would say, "Here's some footage." There would be missing shots. There would be all bad sound, and she would say, "Put it together the way it should be, and that's how you're going to get graded." And she did that because she says sometimes when you're filming, you're not always going to have the good sound. You're not always going to have all the pieces to the puzzle, but you need to be able to bring me a finished product. She
Wow.
taught me that. And
That's
I
impressive. That's
yeah,
impressive. But
yeah,
look now where you are
yeah,
because of all of that training
yeah, yeah.
that you had, and it honestly, I think it helps you. You could see the bigger. So when you got into doing it yourself,
Hmm.
you could see it. You knew you could do it. That's the
Yeah,
one thing. It took, you didn't have to go, oh, can I do it? You've already had some experience.
yeah. Yep, I had some kind of experience. Some they and I guess we felt more comfortable doing it in class, and but it was one thing to have to do it outside of class. And we had to put short films together. We had to be in there watching plays and seeing them do plays to see how the productions of the plays would go. We didn't produce the plays, but we had to sit through it and see how they would get all these cast members out and all of that. I did a lot of different classes, and I'm still learning. I still take certain courses and educate myself.
And I think we talked about this in our class that you never know it all. Nobody does.
No, you never
Just
know it all.
you keep learning and keep going, and that's what you do. That's for sure. What advice would you give someone that's interested in going into uh, filmmaking to be a filmmaker?
Oh, that I always have some good advice, but definitely, my advice to anyone going into filmmaking is to learn as much as you can about film. Like you said, it is a lot of small pieces to it. It is beginning with screenwriting. It is turning that script and breaking it down into, okay, what locations do I need? That's production. It is budgeting. It is all of that. It is collaborating. You definitely need to be able to collaborate with others. If you're not a people friendly person, film is not for you because you're going to get so many personalities from the actors, from the crew,
Yeah.
from everybody. You get attitudes. When I tell you some of these people are sassy and just over the top, and you're on their time and not your time. You just have to adapt and say this is their personality. This is what I signed up for, and just be ready for challenge because it is a challenge. Just be ready for it and just pivot and just don't stop doing whatever you're doing. If you're going to shoot it yourself, don't start and then not do it. Find others that have done it, collaborate with them and get the help.
I tell you, well, I can tell you, I'm applauding you because I didn't. We've only met what about? Is it how many? When's we been? How long have you been in the class?
About 4 weeks now. It's been about a month now,
I
almost a
thought
month.
I thought you was done longer than that. That's
No,
how long.
it's been almost a month. April was
I feel like
it's
I
been
saw you
longer than that.
I would too, but I just was so. It tells you, and there's so many. It's like 30 of us, I think, in there.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was for me, it was an instant connection with you. Instant connection. I want to thank you for coming today.
You're
I'm so
welcome.
proud of you. I'm
Thank
so
you
proud
so
of
much.
you.
I'm
And
proud of
we will. I don't know how or what, but we're gonna do
you.
something together.
We will. We definitely will. We are going to.
So thank you again, and come back again. Please
I
come back.
will. I really will. Thank you so much, Mary.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for today. I want to thank all of you guys for coming. This has been wonderful. Nanette, hi, Nanette. Okay. And she says hi to all of us. She got all our names in there. Okay. Oh, you said bye. Bye, Nanette. Nanette is a super fan also. So, all right. So, thank you all for coming. I'll see you in a week next Monday. And I'll be honest. Hmm. Yep. I'll be broadcasting from another part of the world next Monday, but don't worry, we'll be back again. So God bless each and every one of you. Thank you again. I'll see you in a week. Bye, everybody.